I can't do it. I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. 5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
This is the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Inside the ring. Outside the ring. It's all here.
We're talking about the greatest sport of all, professional wrestling. Come on!
And now, here's Nick and Keith.
Welcome back to the Universal Wrestling Podcast. My name is Nick. His name is what? Keith, what happened to you, man? You grew some hair. What's good, Dylan? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on, Nick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what's good, man? How you been? What have you been up to?
Hey, not too much, man. Getting ready for vacation next week. Got a few more days to go, and then we're off to Biloxi and to Mississippi. Go enjoy some time with the family and just away from work. You know, I can go anywhere, and as long as I'm away from work, I don't care where I go. So yeah, we're going to Mississippi, about 3 hours away from the house. So
what the hell is in Mississippi?
Other than the beach, not too much.
Nice. Well, yeah, man, it's good. Finally get you on, popping your cherry for the first time right here on the TheUWPod. Good to be on, man. This has been a long time coming. Let's do it. I always joke around with Keith. We talk some wrestling and we promote. Let's promote. You can find us right here on the TheUWPod, as well as, yes, the Bloodline Entertainment Network. You got it right there, Dylan. BloodlineNetwork.com, Twitch, Twitter, Twat, Instagram. I mean, we have it all. We're even on Kick, TikTok, TikTok. We're going to be on the new platform soon. What is that with Facebook? It's
Threads. It's called
Threads. Yes, we'll be on that soon. And as well, of course, look at us right here, TheUWPod, TheUWPod.com, Instagram, TheUWPod, or at TheUWPodcast, and Twitter, TheUWPod. We do have a fancy website. Go check it out. Since we're promoting, we might as well promote our boys from down under, the Broadcast Podcast, right here on the TheUWPod's YouTube channel, as well as the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Now let's promote one more thing. Boom, baby, Jeopardy night, game night with the Bloodline, Saturday, right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network, 8:45. Hey, we're naked. There we go. 8:45, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Keith is going to be there. Who else is coming? Graydon, what? Mm-hmm. Streets, my man, Streets, Hollywood, I call him. Hollywood. Good. It's going to be a fun time. Saturday night, right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Let's get to it, Dylan. Let's get to some wrestling. I think that's what we're here for, and that's what most of the viewers are here for. So let's do it, baby. Come on. There we go. What did we learn from Money in the Bank? Let's get to it before we talk about this topic. Mr. Bin Buster himself, Graydon, had a really awesome upload this week. Go check it out. He talks about the Spider-Verse. He talks about Marvel. He talks about all the new movies. He's really good at what he does. Hey, Courtney, what's up, homie? Cheers to you. Thank you for tuning in. But again, I promote half the show. I feel like I promote, but I guess it's a good thing. Let's talk about it, Dylan. What did we learn from Money in the Bank? It was a really good pay-per-view, PLE. It was in London. We know that a lot of people got their, so to say, their spot. Now, some of them didn't win, Some of them maybe lost, and we thought, you know what, maybe something, something else could have happened there. But overall, I thought it was a really good PLE. I think we should dive right into it. But before that, what do you think? Overall, I don't do ratings. I don't do stars. I don't do 2.3, and I think it could have been better. You like it or you don't? Let's hear it.
So really and truly, counting all professional wrestling, I thought this was probably the best PLE or even pay-per-view counting other,
Don't say PLE on this. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was fantastic. I watched the whole thing from my phone. I had to miss the beginning of it. I had to start it a little bit later. I was at a birthday party actually. It
Yeah.
was in London, so it started earlier for us. So I was
Yep.
at a birthday party. I was like doing my best to stay
It's
off of
tough.
social media. I didn't want to get spoilers and whatnot, but I keep hearing from other people how good it was, going so
Yep.
far. So I'm like, man, the moment I leave this party, I got to get on my phone. My wife decided to drive just to let me get on my phone to watch it. So shout out to her for that one. It's for driving so I
Yes.
can watch the show. But oh my
Thank
God,
you
dude,
for
what a
letting
show.
your husband watch wrestling. We
Dude, what a
appreciate
show.
it.
I mean, it was fantastic all around, and what we learned from it also is something that WWE can still surprise us, because there was a few surprises that I didn't see coming whatsoever,
Yeah.
uh, coming from the Money in the Bank, coming from even a women's tag team match. I mean, we learned that we could still be surprised. Not everything is spoiled on the internet, thank God. But yeah, man, it
Yeah.
was a fantastic show. I'm actually one to like to give ratings, so really, I mean,
Oh,
4.5 out of 5. I mean, it wasn't a full 5 for me, but 4.5. I mean, that's a fair rating for anyone that watched it.
you know what you do, since you did what I never do? You get this clip.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Sorry, I had to. We don't rate on this fucking
No.
I curse. We don't rate on this this podcast. But hey, you're the guest. We're gonna do it anyway. This headline, yes, Dylan, it may seem obvious. LA Knight is still over. But I want to talk about this. I want to dive deep into this because every single person, from Dave Meltzer to your mom to your dad to your grandmother, we knew LA Knight was going to win Money in the Bank, and he didn't. And I want to look at that, just because I think he's more over now than he was a few weeks ago, or before Money in the Bank. And I think maybe Trips, maybe Vince, maybe they did this on purpose, but maybe they did not do it on purpose. So I want to dive into that. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, you know what? Trips and Vince said, we don't want to give it to him. He's already over. He doesn't need it. Give it to Priest. Give it to someone that needs it. And I think that's what they did. But it's tough for me, just because if he didn't win. So I think I don't want to say backlash, but I think people are trying to push him, or trying to, cheer for him a little more, just because he didn't win. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, I don't know. It's odd. I mean, this is odd.
So you and I actually briefly discussed this after the show, it first ended, because we talked on the phone like right after Money in the Bank ended, and you even told me the same thing. He doesn't need it. He's at a point in his career where he does not need this Money in the Bank briefcase. He is still over, and just like you said, he's even more over than before Money in the Bank. So we did our prediction show
That's
on
the
Thursday.
question.
So before SmackDown, it was the day before SmackDown, we did our predictions, and all across the board, we all picked LA Knights.
Yeah,
But then I watched SmackDown, that thunderous roar he got whenever he came out, but something he said kind of caught me, and that kind of made me sway a little bit to Damian Priest, because he claimed he was the odds-on favorite to win the Money in the Bank. Someone says that, and now I feel like, okay, now he's not winning it. So that caught me a little bit right there. And I was like, maybe it's going to be Damian Priest, because LA Knight really doesn't need a briefcase. He's someone who could just get like a title opportunity anytime he wants. He's that over right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's dive into that. Like I said, is it? It's not. They're not. I don't know what it is. It's just the fans and me personally. I guess I'll just talk for myself here, but I just feel like it's not what they had planned. Or maybe they did. I do not know, obviously, but it just seems like LA Knight was the guy. Now that he's, did not win Money in the Bank, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say a poor taste in my mouth or a sour taste, but there's something there. I know he doesn't need it. I know that. You just talked about it, and that was I think most of us who are wrestling fans who have a podcast know that he doesn't need it. He doesn't. He does not need it. It doesn't make sense for him to even have it. But it's just, why not him? That's what I'm thinking. Why Damian,
So, yeah, like after the match was over, yeah, it also left a poor taste in my mouth as well because, the entire world, I feel like, was on LA Knight. Like, this was the perfect opportunity to
Yeah.
give the fans what they want, and they didn't do it, but I did see a lot
Was
of
that
fans.
on purpose? That's what I want to know.
I
Because
kind of feel
now
like it
he's
was, I feel like
because
it
now
was. I feel like it was on
yeah,
purpose.
he's more over, man. He's more over because the fans are like, you know what? He didn't get the Money in the Bank. I'm going to stick with this dude. I want to cheer for this dude, and he's so much fun. As much as, we'll hear about Kevin Nash and his tweet on your podcast later tonight. If you're over, that's what's going to happen. And I think that's what's happening with Kevin Nash. As much as I really respect Kevin Nash, and he's been going through a lot as of late. I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't a missed opportunity. I don't want to say that. I think I just wanted it so bad. I think I wanted LA Knight to win, and he didn't. And now we have Damian Priest, and that's another story. I mean, at the end of the day, what can you do? What can you do with LA Knight after this? As much as the fans are behind LA Knight, him as a character, him as, this storyline, it's like, man, you missed the boat there. You really did. I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from Priest. Honestly, I think he's great. I think that's what the briefcase does. I think it elevates the superstar. But with LA Knight, in his case, he would have elevated the Money in the Bank. And that's what we needed after Otis, That's what we needed after several missed opportunities. We needed this to mean something. We needed this to mean, to be special. And I just don't think that's what it is. Even I think Priest will do well, but I don't think it's going to elevate the Money in the Bank briefcase. And maybe they don't give a shit, What do you got?
So it's like the WWE had like the golden opportunity laying right in front of them, and they completely fumbled it, And really, you don't like to use the thing missed opportunity, but I mean, it's a huge missed opportunity because to think back, like from NXT when they brought back the $1 million belt, he made it look so good on him, and really they could have did the same thing with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He could have brought this thing to a new level.
Yeah.
And really, he doesn't need the briefcase to be world champion one day, but I mean, it could have happened sooner if he had the briefcase on it. So now you're thinking to yourself, when's the next time he's going to get an opportunity for like a world championship? They're not going to put him against Seth Rollins anytime soon. Obviously, he's not going against Roman. So what's next for LA Knight? That's my big question is what's next right now, because he doesn't have the briefcase. So now you can't tease a cash in. You can't do anything like that right now. So Priest, I kind of feel like they dug themselves into a hole that they can't take themselves out right now with him winning it. It could elevate him out of Judgment Day or something like that, but I feel like it would have been executed so much better with LA Knight, and they completely fumbled it.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if this is the plan because he is more over, and I keep saying that, and I mean it's right on the screen as well. He's still over, but I think he's more over just because we wanted that and we didn't get that, and I think as an executive, a creative writer for the WWE, I think they look at that. I think they've done this plenty of times, and they knew LA Knight doesn't need it. Don't give it to him. And you know what? If we don't give it to him, you know what's going to happen? He's going to be more over, and that's exactly what happened. I'm just saying, if you want the briefcase to mean something, you give it to someone. Priest is great. I love him. I think he had a hell of a match with Bad Bunny, and I think he's going to do really good things. I just think for this instance, for the Money in the Bank, it needs to be on someone that will do something with it. Maybe Priest will. Maybe he'll cash in on a mid-carder. We'll get to that. But I don't want to say it's a missed opportunity, because I think that, like I said, the WWE, they've been here. They've done this before. They understand that the fans are going to, piss and moan, and the kids that have wrestling podcasts, they're just going to complain more. And that's what we're doing. We're discussing this topic. I guess at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think I don't want to compare it to DB and the Yes Movement, but I feel something with LA Knight. I feel we're more behind LA Knight than Vince. Maybe not Trips. I don't know who's still head of whatever, but I don't know. I guess that's it. And I guess that's what's wrestling, that's what it's all about. That's what wrestling is all about. When you don't know, that's the factor that fans like us, we love, because we don't know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, and I feel like week after week after week, they become so much more sort of invested in LA Knight. Look at the crowd in London. They loved him. They gave him a thunderous roar.
Yeah.
But look at any other place they go in the US. They absolutely love LA Knight. And the crazy part is he's a heel. Like, that's the crazy part about it. They cheer for him this much, and he's not even a face. So that makes you think right there, should they turn him face like any time now, because he's that over with the crowd right now?
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at this comment. Justin Priest said, or Justin said basically the same thing. I mean, Priest didn't need the briefcase, but he's a face. He'll be back in contention, and that makes sense. That makes sense for the storyline. Rumors are rumors, and I've said this a couple times. I pride myself on not bringing up dirt sheets, but if you're a wrestling fan, we heard the rumors, and that I don't even know if it's a rumor, but the backstage gossip that Vince isn't a big fan of LA Knight, and LA Knight was almost let go. I don't know if that has any reason to why LA Knight did not win, but he's still over. If this was on purpose or on accident, this is brilliant, because he's over, and that's what you want. You want someone like this to be more over. As much as he's over now, it's insane. I mean, he's going to get that pop just because we wanted him to win. And now that he didn't win, we're there. Kind of like DB. We wanted him to just triumph. We wanted him to thrive, and he did, but it was that underdog story. And I think, I don't know, again, on accident or purpose, whatever it is, but he's I don't want to say the level, because I think DB is the best wrestler in the world. That's another day and another time. But LA Knight, he's at that point where it's like, he's special, and we need to see more of him. I just don't know. I just don't know what you do.
So, I mean, since he didn't win the briefcase, I mean, what do you see next for him? Do you see maybe a mid-card title for him? Because, I mean,
but he's too hot for a title.
But right now, for a world title, how do you play that scenario? Because right now for Seth, world champion right now, but nothing screams LA Knight Seth Rollins right now. And then obviously Roman's is doing Roman things, and he won't probably lose it till Mania next year in Philly. So,
yeah.
I mean, right now it's got to be a mid-card title, maybe Theory for the United States title. I know there's chatter about him losing the US title.
Yeah, I think the issue is here, and the issue was with Austin Theory and the Money in the Bank. It's not going to happen. I mean, that's why they put into effect that you can cash in on a mid-card. I mean, it's just not going to happen, the Roman. And if it's Cody, it's definitely not going to happen. So we got a year up to WrestleMania that Roman's not going to lose. And then after WrestleMania, if if the story does end the way we want it to end, Cody's going to be champ in Philly. We'll be there. There's no way. I mean, there's no way at all that you put LA Knight on the or LA Knight isn't the Money in the Bank champion, the briefcase holder,
right,
whatever you want to say. So again, on purpose, accident, I don't know, but I think it's going the way that unfortunately we don't want it to go this way right now, but in the long run, down the road, I think it's smart. I think it's a good decision to have LA Knight not win the Money in the Bank. I mean, we just talked for 10 minutes on why we thought he needed it. At the end of the day, man, you can flip flop all you want. He's more over than the title. He's more over than the briefcase. He's more over than almost anyone in that locker room. It's just not necessary to have him hold the briefcase. But then again, we'll go back to what we said. You got to elevate the briefcase. We got Austin Theory who, what happened? I know I'm not going to cash it in on Roman, so take it away from me. What? Who? Why? And that's what I'm talking about. Again, it's not about the briefcase. I get that, but as much as it is about the surprise of the briefcase, cashing in, it's not. LA Knight doesn't need it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, in conclusion, no, he doesn't need it, and it sucks as a wrestling fan who was so invested in him winning it. Yeah, it does suck to see someone else win it, but at the end of the day, he's at the point where he doesn't, and he's just more over. It's not like the briefcase would have made him more over, because even without it, the crowd loved him. So really and truly, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world that he didn't win it. I just want him to that moment that he's been so deserving of as of late, so give him that moment sooner or later. I mean, it's got to happen.
Yeah, but I think they're in a pickle, man. I mean, WWE, as much as, we talk about Money in the Bank and how no one can successfully cash it in, or, they just give it up. I mean, WWE is in a really good place. You got Seth Rollins as your champion and Roman Reigns as your champion. I mean, what's better than that, Really?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's it. At the end of the day, that's what you want. You want two people like that, two guys like that to hold your titles, hold the big titles. And that's the dilemma, Dylan. At the end of the day, we could talk about what elevates what, if it's the briefcase, if it's a superstar, if LA Knight needed it, if Priest deserved it, if the fans really wanted to see Priest win. I mean, at the end of the day, what are you going to do? We're in a good place. You got basically the Shield, two of the three Shield members, who are beloved. You're champions. What can you do? Let's get to the next topic and stop bitching and moaning. What did we learn from Money in the Bank? Mr. Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, is now your, Money in the Bank briefcase holder. And again, if you look at it, this is what you do. You give someone like Damian Priest the briefcase. A, you think he's going to elevate it. B, you think he's going to do something with it. Kind of like Miz in the white title, IC title back in, I don't want to say back in the day, because that wasn't really back in the day, but a few years ago, he had a mission to elevate the IC title, and that's what he did. Here, I can see that this was the smart decision. This was the best decision for 2023's Money in the Bank. 2023's Money in the Bank match. This is what Priest needed. Let's hear it, man. What do you got on this? What are your thoughts? Yeah, let's hear it.
So with him winning it, I have a lot of scenarios when it comes to Damian Priest. I really feel like this could be a way to get him out of the Judgment Day. You're seeing him having confrontations with Finn Balor. He costed Finn Balor. He basically costed Finn Balor his win versus Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. So now it seems like this could be the way to get Damian Priest out of Judgment Day and to go on his own, because he's been in Judgment Day for quite some time now. He's done his time over there. He got recruited by Edge. He's been doing all the time over there. And now I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to get him out. And really and truly, I think this could be a way to get Finn out as well. Like, Finn doesn't need Judgment Day, and really Damian Priest doesn't need Judgment Day. There's been a lot of talks. I know I don't want to believe the dirt sheets, nothing like that. But I also been seeing that maybe JD McDonough from NXT, who just got brought up to Raw, can also be in Judgment Day. So this could be a way to get Damian Priest out of there, far away from Judgment Day. And truthfully, it's not that I don't see Judgment Day as a pretty good stable, because I do. But Damian Priest is so good on his own. He had that fantastic match with Bad Bunny. He's Mr. Money in the Bank now. So this
Yeah.
could be a way to get him in that world title picture. And really, I do hope he goes for a world title. Don't do this mid-card stuff, man. I'm not in for cashing in on mid-card because he's not cashing in on Gunther. And I mean, Austin Theory, does that even like really excite people? Damian Priest, Austin Theory, and like Money in the Bank cash in? Really, it doesn't excite me whatsoever. So I would love if he cashed in for a world title, which is why on our show last week, someone brought up that if Finn won and Damian would cash in right there, that would be like the end. I wouldn't say the end of Judgment Day, but it would like get one of them out of Judgment Day. But it wasn't executed how I thought it would go. How I thought it would go. But yeah, I think they did a fantastic job bringing him the Money in the Bank. There were so many more deserving ones on there, except Logan Paul. I wouldn't say that, but Damian Priest deserved it. He's been working at this. Man. He's been putting on great matches.
Yeah,
and I think they made the right move with him by giving him the briefcase. He's going to do great things with it. If he does cash in on a world title, I think he'll be a good world champion. He's more deserving of it.
Yeah, see, that's where I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to help Priest at all. I think it's going to hinder his career as much as I think it's great that he got the opportunity, that he got the spotlight in London. I mean, that's a big deal, man. Over LA Knight? Come on. I mean, we'll be talking about this for years. Why didn't LA Knight win? Priest won.
Yep.
Again, he is deserving. As much as I hate saying people deserve things because they earn it, he earned it. He earned it with that match with Bad Bunny. He earned it with just being one of those guys that can do anything, like a chameleon. Whatever you ask of him, he'll do. And he's been doing a really good job. He looks like he's in better shape. So I get that. I see that. I understand that. But I think it was a mistake, man. I think giving Priest this briefcase was a mistake. And not because he's not ready and he's not, ready to bat, ready to hit a home run. There's a dilemma. No one's going to cash in on Roman. No one's going to cash in on Cody. And Seth is so hot right now, it would be silly to have him cash on Seth Rollins. You got to do mid-carder. As much as you don't think so, as much as you don't like that, Dylan, you got to do it. Mm-hmm. You have to. I mean, what else do you do? You can't. I mean, maybe I don't think this is going to continue. I think Roman will lose at 40. I get that. So it's what I'm trying to say is this: as long as Roman was reigning with his titles, you couldn't do anything with Money in the Bank. Now this is probably the last Money in the Bank where we're going to question the decision, just because. What do? You can't cash it on Roman, A, because of the Bloodline storyline, B, because of Cody Rhodes. It doesn't make sense. And Seth, what do you do now? I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. But then again, they made the right decision with LA Knight. There's no way you put on LA Knight and then he just, does the same thing Theory did or something worse. I don't know. I don't like the decision, but what can you do in this situation? Damian is the right guy. LA Knight is the right guy. Logan was not the right guy. So they made that's a decision they made that was, a smart business decision. Push this guy. He's the Mr. Money in the Bank. Senor Money in the Bank. It's just, the cards are not lined. The cards what can you do? Let's hear it. Shut me up.
Yeah. I actually said it earlier.
What's up, brother?
Themselves into a hole. Like they really did. They dug themselves into a hole by making Priest, Mr. Money in the Bank. And as much as I don't like the cash-ins on the mid cards, you made every point, that he can't do a world title right now, because like you said, Seth is, on a crazy hot streak right now. You can't pull it off of him right now. He was carrying the company while Roman was taking off time after time, and he would get a graphic on SmackDown saying Roman Reigns returns whenever he's the world champion. And so he shouldn't be taking that time off. And while he was taking that time off, Seth was carrying the company and was finally awarded for it with a world champion. So you can't pull it off of him right now. And Roman, I just feel like it's gonna be it's gonna be for WrestleMania 40 in Philly. I think that's gonna be the time they finally do it. Do I think that Money in the Bank kind of took away from how good it's gonna be to take the belts off of him for Cody? I mean, we'll get into that, but I just think maybe, even though I don't like the mid-card cash-in, that's like the more logical scenario right now for Damian Priest, unfortunately. And really, I don't like it. I don't like that a Money in the Bank, it goes to a mid-card. I just don't like that. I'm more of that, if you win the Money in the Bank, then you're cashing in for the world championship, but they're not in a point right now where they can do a world champion for Damian Priest. As bad as it sounds, he's been working his tail off also, Damian Priest. But there's no scenario right now that you can even put it on him. But I mean, you don't have to pull the trigger just yet. Seth Rollins held it all the way to the main event of WrestleMania, and he cashed in the main event. So I mean, it's really he can hold it for a while and cash in at the right time. So maybe right now is not the right time, but a couple months from now it could be the right time. So don't rush it with him. Let him hold that briefcase for a while.
Yeah. I think that's all they can do. Seriously, I don't know what else you could do. Because I said it in the past streams. Roman at 200 days, I said no one is going to beat him. No one. Someone finally, pinned his ass. With Gunther, I'm saying the same thing. I don't see anyone beating him. So that leaves you with Theory. And Theory is just, I don't know. I thought SmackDown would help the move. I don't know what's happening. Maybe they're trying to rewrite the script on him and see where they could go with it. But let's look at Timmy's comment. LA Knight could still be a year out. What's the rush? Rumble next year. Plenty of time, fellas. I think that's what we said. I think, in my opinion, the Money in the Bank would have been elevated with LA Knight. But give it to him. What is he going to do with it? So I think that's the issue. And I don't think anyone has the answer. You can't wait for a year. We don't know if there's going to be, a Rumble with LA Knight if he wins it. We don't know if, they're rushing plans with LA Knight. I don't think they know, Timmy. That's the answer. I don't think anyone knows. I think it's just could be 1 year, 2 years, 5 months, 4 months, next Monday, next Friday. I mean, you just don't know, just because of that factor of Roman and the storyline with the bloodline is just phenomenal. You can't interrupt that with LA Knight. That doesn't make sense. That would be the worst thing ever. Even with Priest, put him in the mix, just doesn't make sense. So you do mid-card, and that's the next topic. So let's get into it. We've heard it. This is pretty new for us here. Money in the Bank mid-card cash-in. You just said you don't like it. I just say that I understand it. I get it. I may not like it, but I understand it. Again, there's the same issue we've talked about on this podcast last week and the week before. Gunther is your IC champion. There's no way. I mean, unless what Keith said is just, hey, I'm done with this. Take it. I want to go for the title. They have something, they know that there can't be a champion forever. As much as it's great to see this storyline and the history of the Universal and the championship that Reigns holds, it's just it can't happen. So what do? You change it. You change the script. You rewrite it. Money in the Bank. You can cash on mid-card. Guys, I mean, what do you think?
So yeah, like if he was to cash in on the mid card, I think
Hey,
the most logical thing. Yeah, you left for a second.
there we go.
There we go. So yeah, but really and truly, I think the logical thing, if he was to cash in on a mid card, which I will say that until my head explodes, that I do not like a mid card cash in. But right now, they're at a logical reason why it would be a mid card if he was to do that. He's not hinting towards a mid card at all right now.
Yeah.
He's going towards Seth.
Timmy,
And that's what he keeps
stop
on
with the comments. Unbelievable.
he,
Banger after
yeah.
banger. Hold on. We got a video clip for Timmy. Here we go. This is Timmy all night.
Hello, ladies.
There we go. Timmy, the banger of podcast. Yeah. I think we're in a good, bad situation. Good. Roman Reigns, oh my God, storyline phenomenal. Seth Rollins finally gets the title that he deserves. Bad, what do you do with Priest? What do you do with LA Knight? Oh my God, I don't know what to do. They did the right thing at the end of the day, Dylan. Don't give it to LA Knight. As Timmy says, don't rush it. Don't rush it. He is good to go, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think, we'll see. Anything else on Priest? I mean, yes, he's the right guy. It's just, I don't know. They're just it's just a situation that, what can you do?
Yeah, I'll constantly say they dug themselves into a hole with Priest winning, and it's not that he wasn't deserving of it, because he is, but it's like, if you want him to go for a world title, then how do you execute that right now? But unless he holds it for a while, then maybe a couple months down the road, maybe the scene looks a little bit different. Maybe Seth wants, maybe take time off from carrying the company for as long as he's been carrying it. Maybe Seth wants to take a little bit of time off. Maybe you have him cash in on Seth right there. But aside from that, I think the only logical thing you do right now is Austin Theory is taking the US title off of him. And really, yeah. But I think the move to SmackDown has been horrible for Theory. He is not hot like he was on Raw.
Yeah, I think isn't there.
On Raw.
Oh, Theory, please, yeah, baby.
You're right, but no, you can't do. But no, you can't do a world title right now for Priest. But like I said, maybe a couple months down the road, maybe the scene looks a little bit different.
Come on,
Priest says I could see him as a world champion. Like he's world title. He's world title material. In
Get out of here.
My eyes right now. He has the look of a world champion, man. Like, you can't deny that.
This is what you get for saying that.
Oh, can I tell you something as a friend? Yeah. Come on in if you would, please. You're the shits. You really are.
Yes. I love it.
Man, you're killing me. Tonight.
Faction Cast, what's up, brother? Thank you for tuning in. Let's get into some of these comments. There are a lot of them. Tim will ignore that. Tim will ignore that. Broadcast, let's do it, baby. Let's promote. Promote. I joke around, but I really do more promoting than talking wrestling. Broadcast, you can find them right here on the TheUWPod and the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Go check them out. They are the bee's knees, as they would say in Australia. But let's get to the next topic here. We did that. This. I want to talk about this. What did we learn from Money in the Bank? Logan Paul belongs in the WWE. Dylan, I believe he does, but I think we're getting too much of him. I think he needs to be on a schedule like Roman Reigns, where we see him every other month or 2 months, and he doesn't do every single pay-per-view or PLE, just because I think the heat with him and the fans is legit. And it's not the good heat, brother. It's not the heat that you want. It's the heat that's bad. And when he does things like botching, which is just a normal thing in professional wrestling, he gets really bad heat. And I think that's the issue with Logan Paul. I think if we see him constantly, it's not a good thing. For us, for podcasters, we get it. We see it. His athleticism is amazing. Him on the mic, he's getting there. It's good. He could do better. But he's there where it's, we can be okay with it. The issue with me is I think if we see too much of Logan in the WWE, I think it's going to be a bad thing just because of the casual fans, just because of the kids, just because of the adults, older than us. I think they see him and he's just a cocky TikToker that, went one-on-one with Mayweather and got lucky or something. I think if he takes a schedule like Roman, it's something that might benefit him. As much as I think he's great, as much as I think he is a WWE, I hate saying superstar, but he is a WWE superstar. He is. I think it's in his blood. I think he gets it. I just think too much of Logan is a bad thing. And seeing botching like we did at Money in the Bank, as much as, everybody does it. It's a common thing in wrestling. That's what you do. You make mistakes and, whatever. It is what it is. What did you learn from Money in the Bank with Logan Paul? Let's hear it.
So yeah, I mean, Money in the Bank obviously proved he belongs in the WWE, but I learned from his debut match when he teamed with The Miz against the Mysterios that he belonged in WWE. He exceeded every single expectation I had from a celebrity getting into professional wrestling. We've seen it with Bad Bunny. We've seen other celebrities, take their try at professional wrestling. Didn't really do as well, but something about Logan Paul. I honestly don't see him as a great, human being, but as an athlete, as a wrestler, this guy absolutely blows my mind. And we're seeing a little bit too much of him. So I can agree with you on that one. Maybe he needs to work that Roman schedule. We don't see him as often. And, maybe he shows up and he gives us a good match at whatever PLE they decide to do. Seems like they're going Summerslam with Ricochet with the scuffle they had at the end of the Money in the Bank match. And yeah, there was a botch. I mean, it's one of the most talked about ones from Money in the Bank that went into a Spanish fly. He ended up hitting his head on that table. And yeah, it looked pretty rough, but still, it really does. But I got to credit him and Ricochet for playing it as safe as they possibly could, even though it did look, very rough. I've seen the replay multiple times, and I think they both played it as safe as they possibly could. So I got to give it to both of them. And yet Logan Paul is made for this. He is made to be a professional wrestler.
It's in his blood.
As crazy as it is to say that, years from now, I never thought I would say that Logan Paul is into WWE and is actually really good at it.
I didn't think I would say anything positive about this kid.
Really, no.
But he loves it, man.
He does. And really, you can see he loves it. You can see he takes that time to appreciate it. He brings wrestlers onto his show. He likes to, go into the mind of them as well, and he likes to learn from it. So really, if anyone can say anything they want about him, he's just a really good wrestler, and he likes to learn about this stuff, and he actually appreciates the business. So I got to give it to him.
Yeah, I thought this comment was pretty cool, or pretty good. I mean, he signed to do more dates. And I think Faction Cast is agreeing with us. It's just too much of Logan is a bad thing. I think just maybe, again, not for us, not for the fans that watch it in and out. I think it's, you hear Logan Paul and you think, what a douche, What an ass. I mean, that's just what you think with the Paul brothers. That's just it. It's a good or bad thing. I don't know, They're making a lot of money, so I guess it's a good thing. For me too, as much as he is great at being a WWE superstar, and yes, it's tough. I mean, it's not just just because it's not a legitimate sport. It's not an NFL. It's not MLB. It's very tough. It's grueling. We get that. We don't have to go into that. I don't know if he's in it. I don't know if he's in it 100%. And I think that's what fans see. I think fans see that, okay, he comes, he does a Money in the Bank match just because it's fun to see him, the flips, the flops, the jumps, that's cool. He's going one-on-one with Ricochet. Looks like that's going to be at SummerSlam. I think too much is a bad thing. And that's about it. That's all I got with this. Of course, Timmy. Logan Paul's great. Yeah, so is Omos. Just going to slap if and when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, there you go. Give Faction Cast the pencil. If you want to get heat, bring his brother Jake. Yeah, but that's the issue, Faction Cast. I just think people fucking hate him. And as much as you are a wrestling fan, as much as we are podcasters and we see both sides of the story, I think people hate him. And that's it. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I think maybe it helps his character in professional wrestling. I just think too much of him is just bad. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. I think there's too much of Logan Paul right now. And honestly, I'm not sure if he's 100% in it. Like, other than him being in the ring, I don't see any, behind the scenes stuff. I don't see him, training. I don't see the working out, anything like that. I know a lot of superstars post like their workouts and stuff like that, showing that they actually, mean business when it comes to this. From him, I don't see it. I see him doing a show. I see him doing other videos. I don't see him preparing for anything. So that makes me wonder, is he 100% in this? I mean, if he is, he's showing that he really wants it, because he's performing at a high level for someone who never really trained to be a wrestler. And really, he was put into that main roster spot quick. I mean, if he wanted to be in this, then, I mean, start him off in NXT. Yeah, he's a mega star on YouTube, but that doesn't mean he's too good to be in NXT. A lot of people have their pay to do in NXT first, and he got straight to the main roster spot. A few of them did. Someone like Dominic Mysterio also got that main roster spot. I mean, look who his father is. That kind of helped him as well. I mean, yeah, he's good in the ring as well. So is Logan Paul, but he didn't have to pay his due either in NXT. So I don't know. It makes me wonder if he's really in this to be in it, or
it's a good conversation. You know?
Yeah, it really is. It is, yeah.
Because you could see that he loves it. I mean, he brought KSI. I think that's his name. That was pretty good on my part. I can't believe I got that right. KSI. Is it K? Yeah, it's KSI. It looks like he's trying. He's having fun. He's being safe. Yes, he botched, but that happens. I don't want to cover that just because that's what happens. I think, again, as podcasters, as people that see it, straight, right down the middle, he's good for wrestling. That's what you want. You want someone like that who can create that kind of heat. That's what you want. But maybe the heat's not good. Maybe the heat's bad. Maybe it's go away heat. Maybe it's never come back Ronda heat. Maybe it's that kind of heat. But at the end of the day, he's here. He's having fun. We're talking about him. That's number one. He's putting on great matches that are safe. So what can you do? Let's get to the next topic here. We got, what did we learn from Money in the Bank? We are going to get Drew and Gunther at SummerSlam. I think that is, as much as it hasn't been announced, I think that's what they're leading to. And if it doesn't happen, we'll go back and I'll delete this section of the live stream. But this is what you want, man. This is what you want. You want someone like Drew because, maybe Gunther can lose it. But if Drew's there, it's more believable. Am I right? I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
Sheamus, yes, he's an ass kicker, and those matches were fun. But Drew is on a different level. I mean, he carried us through the pandemic. This guy was the guy, I hate saying it, he was the chosen one, and he stepped up. He took some time off. He needed to take some time off. He is back. His first challenge is Gunther. Again, like I said, I don't see Gunther losing. But if it's going to be anyone that beats Gunther, it's going to be Drew. What do you got? Let's hear it, brother.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. If anyone is to take the IC title off of Gunther, and
buddy, thank you for tuning in. Sorry to interrupt. Just Fans Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. All right. Talk your nonsense.
If anyone was to take it off of him, I think it has to be Drew McIntyre. Like you mentioned, he carried us through the pandemic. like, no one in the audience, and this guy is just carrying that championship. And I was there to see him win the Royal Rumble in Houston
Oh
when
shit!
Edge came
Yeah,
back that night. Yeah, I was there, and that was right.
Houston.
It was a couple months before. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Houston as well, but yeah, I mean, I was there. He got his moment at the Rumble. He won it, and that was right before the pandemic. It was in January, at the end of January, and at the beginning of March is when everything started shutting down. So he got his moment in front of a live audience, but since then, I don't find he's really ever got a moment since then in front of a live audience. So I think if you're gonna take it off of him, off of Gunther, you got to give it to Drew and let him get his moment.
Damn. You really think that, Justin? Give me a second. I gotta find a clip for you. This is for you, Justin.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, let's bring it back up. As much as I was joking, what are you gonna do? It's again, Money in the Bank, LA Knight, Damian Priest, cash in on a mid-carder. You can't cash in on Gunther. You can't cash in on Roman. You can't cash in on Cody. I mean, there's a common theme here. It's you can't cash in. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Great point, man. Really great point. Justin added again. He's the stats man for the UWPod. Me and Keith, yeah, we talk wrestling. We might not get everything right. We usually don't. But Justin is here to save the day. Yeah. I just, this is going to, don't get me wrong, this is going to be a great match, and I can't wait to see this. But what do? You really think Drew goes over?
I don't think he goes over the first time. I really think Gunther gets that record first. I think you got to let him get the record for the first time. But then Drew at some point has to get his moment in front of a live audience. For one, it's not going to be a world title like when he won it in front of nobody. But I think you let Gunther get that record first, and then at another PLE is when Drew gets that moment, and he beats Gunther. He does the unthinkable, and he beats Gunther for that title. Because Gunther's been seeming like he's untouchable for that title. He put on that great triple threat with Sheamus and Drew at WrestleMania, and I really think he'll put on a great match with Drew at SummerSlam. But I really think that Gunther wins the first go around. He gets that record, and then sooner or later, that's when Drew takes it off him. If anyone is to take it off of Gunther, it's got to be Drew, because I really can't think of anyone else at this moment who could take it off of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes, this sells tickets. Mm-hmm. It does. And that's what you want. You want any match. It doesn't have to be the World Championship match. It can be for, the IC title, the Cruiserweight. I mean, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You want that match to sell. This is what they're doing. This is what is happening. Gunther and Drew, two badasses, two bangers, two slappers. This is going to be fun. But I'm with you. You can't take it off of Gunther, and you can't have Drew win the IC title against Gunther. It just doesn't make sense. But there's a percentage, Dylan, right? There's a percentage of us that says Drew could do this. Drew is the right guy. Drew needs this. Drew needs this. Where is it? Tennessee? No, Detroit. Drew needs this in a big city. That's what sells tickets. That's what it's all about. The ifs, the factor that we don't know. Again, I say it all the time. For me, when I don't know, when I think I know, that's my kind of wrestling. I don't know. Drew could. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's always that thing of being surprised. Everyone's going into SummerSlam thinking, Gunther's obviously gonna keep it, but then there's always that little surprise that WWE may have up their sleeve that Drew will take it off of him and shock everybody. So right now, what WWE is doing right now is they're pulling surprises. So It really is smart. So no telling what they'll do at SummerSlam. Either way, whoever wins, I'll be happy. I like Drew. I like Gunther. I like to see Gunther get that record. But if they pull that trigger on Drew, then maybe Gunther has a say so in it as well. Maybe he is telling them that he wants to drop it to Drew. I don't know.
I don't know. I say it a lot, and Devin mocks me.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yep. I just don't know. Clip that. Put that on a short, Devin. Let's get to the last topic. And Devin, if you want to stay, I don't know, it might be past your bedtime, but let's talk about it.
Subject.
Devin, get your tissues ready, my man. Reigns isn't invincible. We saw that at Money in the Bank, Dylan. The Usos beat Solo and Roman Reigns in the Bloodline Civil War, and it was just a great match, man. That's my kind of match. Slow and steady and just go at it. Tell a story. And that's what they've done throughout this whole storyline, from Sammy to KO to Heyman to Brock. I mean, Cody, the list goes on. I mean, this storyline has been excellent. And I've said it before, they should win an Oscar or a Grammy or whatever is, for film. Fuck it. Give them an MTV Popcorn Music Award. Give them the Nickelodeon, what is it, Blimp? Give them
the orange Blimp, yeah.
Give them something.
They can slime them too.
It's funny because I've said it. There's no way Roman is going to get cash in. There's no way Theory is going to cash in on Roman. There's no way Priest is going to cash in on Roman. Every single pay-per-view, I said, there's no way he's going to win or lose. At Money in the Bank, that's what happened. Bloodline is no more. The Usos, Solo, Roman, Paul, it's no more. There's no more Bloodline. There's Bloodline Entertainment Network. Cheap plug. Find us bloodlinenetwork.com. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Twat, whatever. We're there. Come check us out. But give it to me, man. This was the main event. That's what it was supposed to be. And it just was something special. It was just like sitting back and you're just like, holy shit. You had that reaction from that fan when Taker lost. This one. You're like, holy shit, what just happened? Is this real life? Give it to me. Shut me up. What do you got?
Yeah, I was that exact same fan right there. Like I was watching it. I was sitting down. We were on some property that my mother-in-law owns, and we were just sitting there outside enjoying whatever breeze we were getting in the crazy sweltering heat of Louisiana over here. And I'm watching it on my phone and I see the splash happen and I'm like, well, he's about to kick out. I mean, it's obvious Roman ain't taking the pin. And then I heard a 3 count and I was stunned. Like I was legit left speechless. And that's what I love about wrestling, when they can surprise me like that. Because earlier in the show, they pulled a crazy surprise I didn't see coming with Shayna Baszler turning on Ronda. I did not see coming at all. And that just set me up for a bigger surprise at the end when Jey Uso got the pin over Roman. And I keep seeing it went full circle because he was the first person to pin Roman when they were in the Shield. And then he just pinned Roman for the first time in 3 years since he took a pin to Baron Corbin. Right? So it all went full circle, which is a cool long-term story. And I mean long-term storytelling right there. But it's easily the greatest story ever told in professional wrestling, and it's still going right now. I feel like the story is still not over. That's the crazy part about it, and that's the fun thing about wrestling, and it's the one thing I love about this story, about the Bloodline, is that it's still not over. And really, I never wanted to end this story because it's that damn good. So it just makes me wonder what's next. Like do they have a one-on-one at SummerSlam, Jey and Roman?
Let's talk about it.
Like I don't know what they do with this right now, but I'm just shocked that they actually had Roman take the pin. But it makes me wonder long term. We keep talking Mania in Philly, Cody and Roman.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it took away from a moment that Cody's going to have at Mania if he is the one to dethrone Roman. I think he is. But I don't know. I feel like this maybe took away from the quote unquote story that Cody currently has right now, because he said that beating Roman would be cool for the titles, but he said it wouldn't necessarily be finishing the story. Honestly, at this point, what is the story at this point? Because he keeps saying, to finish the story, but he even said in the press conference after Money in the Bank that beating Roman for the titles wouldn't be finishing the story. So what is the story right now?
Yeah. I think that's the issue too, and it's similar to Logan Paul. I don't. Just listen to me. I think I'm going to make sense here. Cody keeps telling this story, and we're like, dude, where the hell are you going with this story? Like, just tell it, And then there's always that speed bump. Well, Seth is the new champion, and that wouldn't be that would finish the story for me. That's what he said at the press conference. Beating Seth, that would be great. That's the world championship. I could do that. And then Logan, it's like, are you here? Do you want to participate? Do you want to be a superstar? I don't want to compare it, but it's just like, what is the story? You're right. It's like, what are you trying to tell me here? Mr. Adversity, I mean, you go against Brock. We're going to see that again. And then the match with Dom was absolutely pointless, but we don't have time to discuss that. I'm with you, man. I just don't know. I don't know why that needs. I don't know, man. What do you got?
I just feel like, it was that great moment for Roman to take the pin, something that we did not see coming whatsoever. And really, if you're a fan and you say you saw the pin coming, then you're out of your mind. And I really think that you're lying, because I did not see it. And I don't think anyone that was watching at that moment saw it coming. But I also feel like this took away from that big moment that Cody is going to have next year at WrestleMania. We all know it's Cody Roman in Philly, but I just feel like that him taking the pin to Jay took away from that moment. And like I said, I could be wrong. People could have a different outlook on it. And honestly, I respect any sort of opinion that anyone has about this certain topic. But in my opinion, I feel like it took away from a moment that Cody's going to have. But yes, it also means Cody is going to have a championship. Jay didn't win a championship from this. He just got that advantage in the Bloodline storyline that's going on right now. He got that big moment over Roman.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like that this is a moment Cody could have had if they would have saved it to next year. But now, the topic right here, he's not invincible. So now that just opens it up to where, obviously Cody may win the title.
Yeah.
But is it going to be as big as what it would have been at this year's Mania? I don't know. I feel like a lot of things about this, and I just don't know what to think about if Cody wins next year. I just feel like it won't be as big.
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at it too. Again, rumors are rumors, but Trips and Cody, they're not on the same page. Is that a factor? I don't know. I just know that the story is just continuing and going on and on and on and on and on until maybe at 40 he does, but we do not know that. And, Justin brings up a good point. I mean, Jay beats Roman at Money in the Bank, where you necessarily didn't need a big moment like this. I get it.
Yeah.
I just think, who else? It had to be Jay, right? I mean, Cody, yes. It could be Seth. It could be he could catch. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Cody. I don't think they know what they're doing with Cody. But it just made sense to me to have Jay beat him. Jimmy tagged him in and said, "Yo, take the pin. That's what you want."
Yeah.
For the storyline purpose, I disagree with Justin. But as a wrestling fan, as a fan that's like, why waste it on Jay? I see where where Justin's coming from. Yeah. Right? Like, I mean, it needs to be a moment. And now that if Cody does beat Roman, it's like, well, he already took an L. Money in the Bank, you know, you can play both sides of the card here, you know.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to pop that one up.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this storyline just continues, and I love it. Let's see what Justin has to say. Jay pinning Roman could be all for nothing if Jay doesn't beat Roman at SummerSlam, and he shouldn't. Okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from, Justin. I like it. I really do. I dig it.
Yeah.
Dylan, what time's your show? Let's get you to the show. Let's hear it. What do you got?
No, we're gonna go on at 8:00 our time, so I have time if we have anything else, but if not, it's
no. Let's get you going, man. Give the people what they want. How can they find the World Elite Podcast?
Well, first on Twitter, my personal account, if you ever want to talk some wrestling, some football. Football's coming up. If you want to talk that with me as well, I'm at Dylan Aber _ World Elite Pod on Twitter is my wrestling podcast. And if I want to plug some Bloodline content, then next August is the Domefield Advantage podcast. My brand new New Orleans Saints exclusive podcast to the Bloodline Network is coming. I'm excited. I'm finally doing my own show for the first time in almost 3 years I've been podcasting. So
yeah, get away from Jordan and Marcus.
Yeah, I truly appreciate guys like you, like Devin, like Tim, the guys who encouraged me to get out there and, do my own thing. I really, really appreciate y'all. So I just can't wait till August till I can show y'all what I got and maybe even bring y'all on for some shows.
Yeah, I ain't talking Saints with you. I'll tell you that much.
It's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. Give the people, you talked about the Saints podcast, but what about tonight's show? Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have some Money in the Bank recaps. We talk other topics like Dark Side of the Ring, the series on Vice channel that they're doing.
Nice.
They didn't do one this week, but we're talking Junkyard Dogs episode from last week.
That was good, man.
Talking some, yeah, it really was. Following
I didn't
his
like
career.
the Doink the Clown one. That was awful.
That one, yeah, and really there was been no positive sort of episode. Dark Side of the Ring is always, I mean, it's in the name, dark, so it's obviously going to be some negative stuff and whatnot, but yeah, we got other stuff we're talking tonight. So if y'all feel like tuning in, y'all come hang out with us, leave a comment, whatnot, and support it.
And don't forget, coming up next right here, let me find the graphic, is the WrestleBread Podcast, episode 193, Money in the Bank review. Mr. Adversity. Damn it. JD loves Cody Rhodes, so go and tune in at 9:00 p.m. EST, about 20 minutes, and we got to talk about the Bloodline. We got to talk about the Broadcast podcast right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network and the UWPod, but most importantly, the Bloodline Entertainment Network. BloodlineNetwork.com, fancy website. Mr. Banger does a lot there. Tim King, Devin, killing it. Everybody in the Bloodline. You, JD, Dom, give me some names. I'm going to forget. Dan, Streets. We shouldn't do that. Graydon, because now we're going to forget everybody. But
I know. I'm going to feel bad if I forget somebody.
Yep. Let me shut up here. You can find us on Twitter at TheUWPod, Instagram at UWPod.com. I cannot find my outro. Give me 1 second. Here we go. You can find us on Twitter at TheUWPod, Instagram at UWPod.com, and we got a fancy website, UWPod.com. Keith will be back next week. Dylan, you are the man. Thank you for hopping on with me. And let's do it, buddy. Peace!
Yeah, baby!
And here it comes!
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Universal Wrestling Podcast.
Slice that blood up and say!
Check us out on the web at UWPod.com. You've got mail. Or send us an email. info@uwpod.com. Universal Wrestling Podcast. Nobody does it better.